Good evening, church family. I'm coming to you tonight for a fireside chat because it's been an anxious few days for all of us, and I imagine that you, like me, just need to take a deep breath and be still in a peaceful place. I trust you've all been able to read my pastoral message from yesterday about the COVID-19 virus and our difficult decision to postpone our congregational retreat at Calumet. Since that message, though, which included steps we were going to take to reduce the risk of transmission at church, so much has changed. Today, the President declared a state of national emergency, and Governor Baker placed a ban on all large gatherings of people. The Lynn Public Schools, along with all of our neighboring North Shore communities, have made the very tough decision of closing school for a minimum of 2 weeks. These decisions do not come without significant community impact. But the risk of this virus spreading and overwhelming our healthcare system is just too great, together with the potential impact on older people and those with other pre-existing health conditions. Therefore, our Congregational Council met for a conference call this evening, and after thoughtful conversation and prayer, made the difficult but necessary decision to suspend all public church activities for 2 weeks, including Sunday morning worship. Every public health official and infectious disease expert agrees that this is the single most important factor in reducing the spread of disease, or flattening the curve, as you may have seen on television. Just because none of us is sick today or knows someone affected by this disease currently does not mean that we cannot spread it. It is possible to go over a week as a carrier without showing any symptoms. It is our Christian responsibility to care for the most vulnerable among us, and not only for our own congregation, but for the community in which we live. By taking this action, we are acknowledging the seriousness of this current crisis and modeling the kind of behavior which will keep us all the most safe. What we are not doing is panicking or falling into fear. We will transition for the next 2 Sundays to an online format. On Sundays, David and I will come to church and conduct a service of the Word, that is, a worship service without the celebration of Holy Communion. I know that when everything in the world feels like it's changing and is out of control, there is a real craving for stability and for what feels familiar and normal. Having the sights and sounds of our actual worship space is one way to do that. But on Wednesday nights, in place of our midweek Lenten services, we will have a fireside evening prayer service right here, much like we've done in the past during snowstorms we've had to cancel worship. We are also looking for ways to gather via social media, video conferencing, and conference calls so that we can be together in community with each other, at least virtually, for a time. The book of Ecclesiastes says that for everything, there is a season. This is a season in which we must be separated, not spiritually, but physically. But this too will pass. Like any kind of fasting, we will come to appreciate, perhaps in a way we never had before, the real treasure we possess in being the family of God at First Lutheran Church. We will understand just how vital it is for us to worship together, to sing, to hug, and to share in the gift of Holy Communion. Perhaps the whole mystery of our faith that we proclaim each Sunday, that Christ has died, Christ has risen, and Christ will come again, will take on a whole new meaning. More information on how to access these online services will be distributed on Saturday. But for now, know that this whole world is in God's strong and loving hands, and that includes you, the people you love, and the communities in which we live. May God grant you a quiet night and a peaceful rest.